Leaving New York City felt like a huge risk, but what I discovered in the Greater Danbury area completely changed my perspective. I'm Byron Campos, and today I'm sharing the unexpected benefits, the challenges, and the surprises of my move from New York City to the Greater Danbury area in Connecticut. So if you're thinking about making that big move, stick around to the end because I'm going to reveal the most shocking thing I discovered about this area, something you definitely do not want to miss. Now, during the early days of COVID, the pandemic, like many others, my wife and I were trying to figure out how to navigate this new way of life. And we were living in a one-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn at that time, and we have dogs. Working from home suddenly made the place feel so much smaller. It felt like literally we were on top of each other, and the apartment quickly became more of a burden than an actual sanctuary, and we needed room to breathe. So one day we decided to get out the city, and it was more of a mental break than anything else. We took a drive to clear our heads. And while we were out exploring, we did what a lot of us do. We pulled up Zillow, the application, and we started browsing at homes. What we found completely just took us off guard. We saw homes that were 2, 3, 4 bedrooms with huge backyards and all significantly less than what we were paying for at that time. So it got us thinking, why are we staying in New York City all cramped up, paying so much when there's a whole new world right across the border, literally an hour to an hour and a half away? That's when we started seriously taking a look at the Greater Danbury area. Now, when I say the Greater Danbury area, I'm talking about the towns in that region, Brookfield, Newtown, Bethel, and Ridgefield. This whole region offers the perfect balance between suburban comfort and proximity to the city because the highway to New York is right there. With a lot of unique charm in each individual town. So we felt like there was a lot to explore, and the lifestyle seemed incredibly different, totally, completely different than what we were used to in Brooklyn and Queens and Manhattan. Why not? And very quickly, it took a day or two, we got pre-approved, and we started seriously taking a look at homes. What started just as exploring turned into a real mission to find the right house. So we toured a bunch of different properties. And one of them just felt right, enough room for us to put in our personal touches, and it was spacious enough. It was a big yard for our dogs to run around, and we put an offer, and we were thrilled that we actually got the property on the contract. Fast forward today, our property has gained over $300,000 in equity. I mean, talk about timing. But back then, there was still so many unknowns, so there's obviously many reasons why somebody's not just there. Nobody could anticipate exactly what was going to happen in the market in those following months. And I'm not going to lie, there was some concerns. My biggest worry was that what if I had to go to the city on a daily basis back in downtown Manhattan every single day? That meant I would be dealing with a much longer commute, which could obviously be a huge downside. Now, however, being close to the highway in this particular area just made it simpler to hop on the car and drive down to the city when needed. And believe me, we know that there's traffic, but there's not a lot of traffic here as much as New York City has. But it wasn't just about the commute. I was also concerned about other things like leaving family behind, friends behind, and really all the conveniences of the city life, especially the restaurants, stores, and things that I was just used to getting very, very easily. So I wasn't sure that Connecticut could really compete with that. And one of the first big surprise that I had about the Greater Danbury area was just how accessible everything is. I remember thinking I'm going to miss the convenience of stores in New York City, but I was blown away of how convenient it is. There's very little traffic, so you could drive anywhere and park anywhere. So parking is never an issue. And I could get to pretty much any store I want within 10 to 15 minutes from where I'm at. We have, big retailers like Target, Whole Foods, luxury stores at the Danbury Fair Mall, which, by the way, is one of the best malls I've personally ever been to. It's diverse with a lot of common retailers that you find in a common mall. But it also has arcades, bowling alleys, and all this other bunch of stuff, which completely took me by surprise. But beyond convenience, I discovered something else, the incredible variety of towns and experiences in each area. Each town has its own unique personality. Brookfield has a suburban, family-friendly vibe. Ridgefield feels has more sophisticated and charming vibe. It's almost like stepping into a small New England town, and Newtown has much more character and history, while Bethel is a mix between the old and the new with its great downtown area. Every weekend, we find ourselves exploring different towns, trying new restaurants, and just taking in the beautiful scenery. What really surprised me was the sense of community. In New York City, it's easy to just feel like another face lost in the crowd. But in the Greater Danbury area, it's different. The community events, friendly neighborhoods, and local activities just made us feel like part of something. And I'll never forget the first local event we went with our daughter. It was a small town fair, and everyone was so welcoming. It was such a great feeling to connect with people who genuinely want to get to know us. And let's talk about the nature. The nature has been a total game changer. We're surrounded by parks, lakes, and literally weekend boat rides have become a regular thing for us. We're so close to the Candlewood Lake, which is just stunning in the fall and summertime. And it's a chance to reconnect with nature in a way that just wasn't possible in New York City. Well, there was one moment in particularly that made me realize that I made the right choice. After moving in, I spent a lot of time working on the property to make sure it feels like my own. One day I decided to build a fire pit on our backyard. And one summer evening, I had my family over from Queens. We were sitting around the fire, laughing, sharing stories, and just enjoying some good food and drinks. And it was a beautiful, warm night. And I felt this overwhelming sense of clarity. We could have never done something like this in New York City. And being together as a family in nature felt almost surreal. And that's when I knew that moving was one of the best decisions I made for me and my family. Looking back, my biggest fear in New York City was the uncertainty of what the future held during the pandemic. And I was worried about my job, my family's safety, and the stress of city life. But taking that leap of faith opened up a bunch of new opportunities for me and my family. And I ended up starting my own real estate business. And now I have the privilege of working with a great team and helping so many families relocate to Connecticut or find homes in the Greater Danbury area. It's been a blessing in disguise, and I'm so proud to say that my career has been phenomenal. With no cap essentially on my potential. Of course, there's a lot of pros and cons about owning your business, but we'll get to that on another story. So if you're thinking about leaving the city for a better quality of life, I can't recommend the Greater Danbury area enough. It offers, again, the perfect balance of suburban comfort and city convenience. And it's a great place for families, and I can't imagine raising my daughter anywhere else. She has access to nature, excellent education, and the community just feels connected. Plus, we still have easy access to New York City whenever we want to visit. It's just a call right away, and it's truly the best of both worlds. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the most shocking thing that I discovered about this area is just how connected and diverse it truly is. Each town has its own vibe, and there's endless options for dining, entertaining, and outdoor activities. It's not just like a sleepy suburban area with nothing to do. It's a thriving community with so much to offer, and I never imagined I'll find so much variety and quality of life here, and I'm just so glad I made the move. So if you're feeling overwhelmed in the city or just want change, don't be afraid to explore new places and what Connecticut has to offer, and you might find that it might be exactly what you're looking for here. So take the time to discover the hidden gems, the local communities, and the peaceful way of life that you will never find if you don't do a little bit of exploring. I just want to thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video or if you found it somewhat helpful in your new future, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for insights on living in Connecticut and even real estate tips on the local markets. And if you're considering a move here, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Again, it's Byron Campos, and I'll love to help you and your family with your next move. You can shoot me a text at 20665-8071. Till next time.